Good morning, folks. This is Robert Stevens. I'm the author of Homespun, Teaching Local History in grades 6 through 12 by Linus Learning. I want to introduce to you the book that was based on a series of history lessons and history units that I taught at Rye Junior High School in Rye, New Hampshire between 1978 and 1985. A town that this year is celebrating its 400th anniversary. It was settled in 1623, and here we are today, 400 years later. In 1990, the New England League of Middle Schools published Gavels to Gravestones, 7 middle school social studies, by the New England League of Middle Schools in 1990. 5 of those activities were based on my local history projects when I taught at Rye Junior High School. Since this time, the first publication of Gavels to Gravestones led to a second publication, Homespun, originally published in 2001, was based on my graduate work at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, teaching at Washington College in Maryland, the 9th oldest college in the country, 2 years as a historical restoration carpenter at Strawberry Bank in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and 8 years teaching at the Rye Junior High School in Rye, New Hampshire, between 1978 and 1985. Homespun has 3 sections. The first are the teaching activities that were very successful that I used at the Rye Junior High School during that time period. They include analyzing gravestones, writing a local history, doing a family history, creating a community image, and you read about those as you read the book. The second section are history projects throughout the country that were selected because they were published in either social education or middle level learning. Some had won state awards, and others had been the presentations at state social studies council meetings, and then the third section, which I've spent a fair amount of time on, are essays that support the activities in section 1. For instance, there's a book review by Kim Michelle Richardson's book Bookwoman at Troublesome Creek. It's a story about a woman who was in the original Kentucky Library Project and became a novel, and that supports chapter 6 using community images and primary sources. I am pleased to have been able to publish this book. I'm thankful to the authors, to the editor at Linus Learning, and I hope that my interest in local history will inspire you to create lessons or units or projects similar to the ones that you'll be exposed to in this reading. Thank you very much, and good luck in your history pursuits. Okay, hello folks. This is chapter 1, the significance of teaching local history. When is the last time you thought about your community's local history and how it relates to our national history? Frederick Jackson Turner in 1893 came up with his famous frontier thesis, where he talked about how America has evolved and how our character as Americans evolved between this relationship between our cultural heritage and the geography challenges that we had to make as we moved westward. And so this first chapter is going to introduce the concept of sectionalism as a means of better understanding how to create activities later on in the book for local history. So Jackson argued, or stated basically, that as we developed as a country and as we evolved, as we moved from the eastern seaboard for those of you on the East Coast, across the Appalachians into the Midwest, and conversely, those in the West, particularly the Southwest, where there was Spanish incursion prior to the Mayflower landing and the Mayflower Compact. Our country has evolved with different people, different ethnic groups, and different challenges because of the diversity in our country. Turner came up with a section on sectionalism, which allows us as social studies teachers, not history teachers, but social studies, to be able to combine geography, economics, cultural values, and obviously events in history that become a part of what local history is truly about. As Turner noticed that these distinct patterns of community life began to form as westward expansion continued, and if it was not for the vague frontier that was responsible for the American character, but rather the way the pioneers adapted to their peculiar circumstances that created the values that people had in our country. When we follow this logically, or to its logical extreme, we end up using one of the 5 geographic themes to describe our country, and that is a country of regions. Regions based on the diversity of the landscape, the geography, if you will, the diversity of cultures, again, the cultural heritage, and the challenges that the environment posed to solve particular problems. Some of those problems obviously were, how do we survive? What types of buildings are we going to create for our community? What is here that we can use as a resource to make this community become what it became? And then obviously, what happens when there's a change, either in technology or a change in the environment that forces the community to make different sorts of decisions. So the first chapter lays out the foundation that allows us to create local history projects based on geography, culture, history, economics, and values. And I hope you enjoy understanding that chapter as I did writing it for you. Thank you very much.